Hi.
Okay, Darren, we know you've been working on a new segment for the show, so it's time to spill the beans.
Yes, and if it's cooking with Darren or Darren reads calculus, I'm going home.
Those are both good ideas, Bajo, but no, it's time for me to proudly introduce Darren Does Devs.
What? Like game developers?
Affirmative. As you know, I've been cultivating a special rapport with some of the greatest minds in video game design the world over. So I thought it was only fair to share these amazing meetings with all the spawnlings out there. Welcome to Darren Does Devs. Now, before we begin, I must scan our guest for noobishness to make sure he's worthy of being interviewed by me. Scanning. Ah, excellent. You're completely noobite-free. Now, firstly, tell the spawnlings who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Randy Pitchford, and I run a studio called Gearbox Software, and we make video games.
Well, I understand that one of your favorite game genres are roguelikes. Now, many of the spawnlings might not be familiar with that. Could you tell them what a roguelike is and what makes them so special?
Yeah, well, there was a game called Rogue, which basically involved you becoming an adventurer, and you'd go into a dungeon and defeat horrible monsters like dragons and orcs, and find loot, and you'd gear up and become more powerful, and going deeper into the dungeon, you get more and more enemies to face and better stuff to get, and it's just kind of a fun adventure.
So the games came to life purely in your imagination.
Yeah, we had to use a lot of imagination back then before we had graphics, but now brilliant artists and great engineers are capable of making things on screen that look almost as interesting as real life.
Today I'd like to pitch an idea to you I have for a game.
Please.
Okay, the idea I had for a game was that it would be set in a factory, and the idea would be to replace the human workers with more robots to make the factory more efficient. Now, what advice would you give me for developing and refining that concept?
I think if you want to make a game out of that, you're going to need resources, and you're going to need challenges, and you're going to need rewards. So you have to decide what it is that the factory's trying to build, or what are the options for what it's trying to build, and what it takes to build them, and then what kind of management is required in order to go through that process. And if you succeed, if you do a good job, if you're efficient, if you use your resources well and create the things that are required, then you'll need some kind of reward system in your video game, and then it'll feel fun.
I knew that already, of course.
Of course you did.
I just thought I'd get your opinion.
Okay.
Now, I get many thousands and thousands of emails and letters from the Spawn of Australia asking about how they could go about getting jobs in the world of video games. Now, could you give some advice about what they might want to study at school and what sort of things they should do to move in that direction?
What's really awesome about making video games is it's one of the only industries in the world where there's a component which is deeply scientific, where studying math and programming and science is really helpful to the skills that we'll use. But there's another component which is definitely about feeling, it's about heart, and studying art and creativity and committing to your creativity really is a benefit. And finding a way to blend both the science aspect and the artistic aspect together is where the best games come from. So anyone who wants to become a game maker can either commit themselves to artistic endeavors, creative endeavors, or scientific and mathematical endeavors, and that's a great place to start. The key is to follow your passion and to never give up.
Would you like to sing a little wub wub with me?
Oh, sure.
Wub wub. Wub wub. Come on, join in.
How about, did you see our other trailer with The Lion Sleeps Tonight? Did you see that one? You know that song?
Oh, yes. How does that go again?
It's the Weem Away song, you know, like, a weem away, 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 a weem away. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Yes, not bad. You have quite a voice.
Oh, thank you. I knew that already. Well, thank you very much for your time, Randy. Would you like me to give you a rocket ride back to Texas?
Oh, can you?
Affirmative.
That would be amazing.
Just be sure to hold your breath, because we do leave the atmosphere briefly.
Okay.
Come on. Okay. Charging my rocket boots. Off we go. Blast off!
Wow, Darren, I can't believe you spoke to a famous developer like Randy Pitchford and didn't tell us.
Yeah, we could have asked him some questions, like proper questions. Please tell me you at least delivered him home safely.
Well, that's another story.
Darren, what did you do to Randy Pitchford?
Darren?
Well, I think he slipped off somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, but he looked like a strong swimmer. I'm sure he's back at Gearbox by now, working on some new games or something.
Bajo, we better call them and check right away. Let's go to the Ask Good Game desk.
I'm sure he's fine. Worrying over nothing.
Right. So he made it home eventually. And he's fully recovered now. Okay. Good. well, thank you, and I'm sorry again about that.
Sorry.
Okay, bye.
Is Randy okay?
Yeah, sort of. I don't think he's going to come back to Australia anytime soon.
Right, well, we're going to have to put a stop to Darren Does Devs.
Agreed.
Yes.
Well, shall we get on with some questions?
Certainly, Hex.
Whew.